Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Tumorously Yours. Today we have with us Kshitij Doval, who is going through treatment till very recently, till last month. And so before we start, we want to say congratulations, yay on completing, and
Thank
thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much for coming on Tumorously Yours to share your journey. I'm Tamanna, that is Adnan, and we are very, very happy and that you are ready to share your journey with everyone who's listening to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tamanna. Thank you, Adnan, for calling me. Really a pleasure being here.
Amazing. So first of all, let's set some context, for everyone. So, Kshitij, can you please tell us a little bit about, yourself, about where you're from, how old are you, and what did you do before, you got diagnosed with cancer? Like what type of cancer it was, what stage, how long the treatment was?
So I just turned 29 last month. It was a very special birthday for me this time because I think a few days just before my birthday, finally I was finally announced properly with my radiation getting over as well that I'm perfectly cancer free, so could properly celebrate my birthday. I come from Dehradun. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business named Doval Enterprises, and one of them is Unhu School of Business. Essentially, all my mission is towards increasing employment in India. So I upskill people or businesses in order to generate further employment. So that's what I do. I was diagnosed in the month of December. So December 2022 is when the disease was caught, and it was very weird because, and this is something which I suppose that anybody watching this must understand that I had no symptoms, absolutely zero symptoms. So it was an incidental finding. That's what's a little scary because it can basically happen to anyone and we couldn't even know. So that's a very good possibility of that happening as well. Now, what happened was that I got diplopia. I got binocular diplopia. I started seeing one person as two. That was the symptom, but let me be very clear, that had nothing to do with the cancer as per the doctor. And they thought it was something to do with the eye initially. So I went to the optician. They said it's perfectly fine. Then went to the neuro. Neuro got an MRI done. The MRI came out fine. Then nikla ki thoda my protein level and something is high, pressure is high on my brain and everything. Then they were then suspecting that it is probably TB. And I kept asking, but मुझे तो कुछ है ही नहीं. And my parents also became very, they're like, कुछ ही नहीं है, the hospitals are trying to charge you money and कुछ नहीं है. Just let it be, कुछ भी नहीं है. So my cousin also went like, कुछ भी नहीं है, मुझे भी ऐसा हुआ था, ठीक हो गया था कुछ टाइम में. I was like, नहीं, मेरे अंदर there was a कीड़ा that नहीं, I have to find the root cause. हो क्यों रहा है? मतलब what's the reason behind it? निकल के आया कि it's most probably Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a kind of blood cancer. Now, इसको confirm करने के लिए, my parents suddenly now they started panicking. They're like कि something's wrong. तो देन यही हुआ कि देन आई गॉट माई पेट सिटी डन एंड पेट सिटी से कंफर्म हो गया. देन फाइनली कीमो हैड टू बिगिन एंड कीमो डिड बिगिन एंड वी काइंड ऑफ went through the journey chemo. So I had to go through 4 cycles of chemo. Initially it was planned for more, but 4 cycles it was completely eradicated. And then just to be absolutely clear, then radiation happened. So radiation ke 15 sessions हुए मेरे साथ, and yeah, I'm like touch wood cancer free as per the doctors.
So, Kshitij, you mentioned, when all of this, what was your initial reaction when you first, heard the confirmed report that you have Hodgkin's lymphoma?
At the very beginning, I was completely numb. I didn't know that. So the moment I heard of cancer, like it's very normal to think that, okay, I have a few time to live now. मेरे पास अब ज़्यादा वक्त नहीं है जीने के लिए. And now I better, do what I can do and everything because my life is going to end. यही होता है, हम movies में तो यही देखते हैं, cancer मतलब death ही है उसके बाद. But I got a lot of support from my doctor here at Max. She was very, very nice. She really helped a lot. My chachi herself is a hemato-oncologist who is a specialist at treating blood cancer. So that helped quite a lot. I got 2 opinions regularly. Actually, उल्टा हो गया. I had to support my mother because she was very, very worried. मैं उनको बोला अरे कुछ नहीं होता, chill मारो. Like after a point of time, I was pretty chill. I'd somehow believed that कुछ नहीं हो, अब क्या है, कुछ नहीं है. But then she told me that, and one of my uncles also, he also said the same thing. He's also a doctor. So he said that, see, we have seen कि chemo से Hodgkin's lymphoma literally melts. So it's not something which is, it happens sometimes. It happens in 90-95% cases. So chill. There's a very high chance कि खत्म हो जाएगा. So the doctors were also very nice and they kind of calmed me down. They were like, relax, it's fine, it'll go away. And
no, but I want to ask you something. So you said that you had to support your mother a little bit, but I want to know how were you dealing with it in your head, because I also had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and I was also told don't worry, हो जाएगा, सब सही हो जाएगा. But internally it's still cancer, right? You're still like, oh my god, मतलब बोल रहे हो जाएगा, but क्या भरोसा है? So then how were you dealing with it? Like, what was your actual internally? How were you dealing?
Firstly, congratulations. I didn't know that you yourself are a cancer survivor. But like from my end, I'll be very honest. Initially, it was a little bit shocking, but I was just quiet. And usually, it's my habit that I go a little quiet when I'm trying to process things. And then I realized, मेरी tension लेने से या तो cancer ठीक हो जाए, nothing will happen, right? So I started processing it in a manner that I cannot treat it. It's on doctors' hand. Now doctors are gods. Okay, now they have to do everything. I have to listen to them what they're going to say. So मेरे में एक फिलॉसफी है टेंशन लेने का नहीं देने का. So I was like, the tension is on the doctor now. Let them do what they're doing. I'm just going to just focus on getting fine. So before the chemo there was no problem, but I'll tell you, more problems came when chemo started. That is where it actually started bothering me. First chemo, I got it done. So chemo port के through हुआ है मेरा. Maybe the chemo port is here. कोई pain नहीं हुआ. But I went ahead of what was about to come. So I had to go through ABVD, so 4 different kinds of drugs, and they were pretty heavy doses considering my weight. And पता नहीं चला first day, second day, third day, ऐसा कुछ पता नहीं चला. Third day के बाद, oh my god, it suddenly kicked, and I felt very lazy, and I started sleeping the entire day. The first chemo was very torturous after a point of time. I'll explain how, because I was not able to go to the washroom and I didn't realize it. And I was having 5 meals a day. To a point of time, after the 5th day, I started feeling very uneasy and not good at all. So then I went to the hospital. I got admitted. It might sound funny that way, but it was very very painful because अब आपके अंदर
No,
खाना
but you
है.
can't eat, you can't do anything now. Everything's stuck inside, so it's not. I mean, I'm sure it's.
Yeah, and the thing is, my stomach is not even bloated or anything. It's just flat.
Yeah.
So there is
Yeah.
just nothing. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's a weird feeling, and I'm just feeling very weak. First 7 days were bad. Last 7 days were fine. Next chemo का जब हुआ, so I was prepared कि ये powder तो मैं रख के रखूंगा. So I ordered a lot. But next वाले में problem ही नहीं आई. Next वाले में कुछ और problem आ गई अब. So
Yeah.
that is where it was like, sometimes like there was anxiety कि अब अगले में क्या होने वाला है. So in one of those times, I was going through a lot of pain. My resting heart rate started increasing a lot, to the point that I was sleeping. And while sleeping, after 3 hours of sleeping, I just got up and my resting heart rate was over 150. The normal human resting heart rate would be somewhere around 75, 76.
80. Yeah, exactly.
So 150 is usually when you're running, sprinting for a kilometer or
Yeah.
something. Like, I was taken to the ICU and everything, and I was fine. So there was a point of time, I won't lie. So there was a point of time I even went like, I can't do any more chemo. Like, let it be. जो होना होगा मेरे साथ हो जाएगा. I can't do this. And there were these things that start getting in your head, that why me? मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है ये? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. Those kind of thoughts did come. I'm not going to deny that it did come, but it also went away very fast. It's because of the constant support I got from my parents. Like, it felt very good. Like there's a age where everything is your friends. Not like my friends were not there. There were two, but then you start realizing the importance of parents at that point of time. I started having this feeling that, okay, I need to put my mind into something, not distract, but put my mind into something. Otherwise, I can't just lie down. I've been a workaholic. I enjoy working. So I started, like, on my iPad, I started scribbling, what do I do now after once I'm fine? So I was assuming by September I should be fine. When you have a purpose, then it helps. When you're thinking too much, then hoga bhi bahut. Then too much happens because you're overthinking on that. And they told me it would take 6 to 8 cycles. But after the 4th cycle, they were very clear that it's completely gone and your body has reacted very well. And इस वाले PET CT में it's clear. So just you go ahead with it.
Even when I was going through chemotherapy, they tried to put a chemo port, but they couldn't. So every cycle, and I had 5. I had 6 actually, but we couldn't do the 6th one. And every one would be here, one would be here, one would be in the foot, one would be here. They had to put different ones because once, like you said, the medicine is so strong that the same nerve, the same vein couldn't
Cannot
take
take.
it the second time. So it would take it once, and then we would have to next time find the one. So I had like Adnan had seen it at that time. I had like a bunch of like black nerves all over my body because they would just become black. So now it's been 3 years, so now they're looking okay. My hair is back, but
I can totally relate to that pain. And that
Yeah.
is when I got a very small trailer of it. You had to go through that. I mean, hats off. I mean, I think one of the thoughts that also came in my mind at that point of time was this only, that I am so lucky. I have very supportive parents. Luckily, we're financially fine. I had a good medical insurance and everything in place, and I could afford it in a manner that if I'm not working also for 6-8 months, we're going. I think that cancer kind of taught me a very important lesson of gratitude and who's important and how you must not take your life for granted. And
I want to go back to the topic of being a workaholic. Going from that to just focusing on your health can be a little difficult mentally, I feel. Like, I know if I had been doing nothing during the 8 9 months of my treatment, I would have gone completely crazy. Like, I worked throughout because I was like, I will not know what to do and I will overthink everything. But I think doing nothing is also important, which I struggle with, but I'm trying. But how did you manage your time between the chemo cycles? Like the 7 days that you were feeling better, when you're feeling like you can do things, what did you do? And did you do anything specific to keep yourself busy?
yeah, so that is very true. In fact, what you said is the right way, to keep yourself occupied. One thing that I did a lot was I slept a lot. I just kept sleeping. I kept sleeping. I kept sleeping. I kept sleeping. I slept a lot. I was very lucky for one more thing. IPL was going on during that time. And I enjoyed fantasy cricket. I started just going there and
When you said that, you were sleeping a lot. Now, I'll tell you from personal experience, I would also be sleeping a lot and more because I was just tired. Generally, I would just be feeling fatigued all the time. It is still, at least for me, mentally, I was like, what is this? Like, I want to get up and do something, but I'm not finding the energy. Like, I really wanted to find the energy, but I couldn't. You said you were used to going playing games outside and all of that. So, did you face a mental struggle with that, or were you okay?
oh, I did, and I did very stupid things also. So one of those stupid things was in between chemo, I went to play cricket, and so I was going through chemo, and I was very specifically instructed not to play cricket or any other thing because ball chemo port mein lag sakta hai. If you get scratched or anything, it'll be a problem and this and that. And I got so frustrated because I was seeing everyone play cricket in our society, not that proper cricket match, but like, and I went and I started playing cricket, and I just kept stayed at one place. I was doing keeping and batting, wherein I had a runner who was running. So the thing is, because I got that FOMO, like other people are playing, I have to play. But the moment game got over, my body would completely cram up, and I had that resting heart rate issue, and वो resting heart rate एकदम high 150 पे पहुंच जाता था, and then it was very tiny. I had to have dolo and everything. I had to sleep, so I would sleep after that for 8 9 hours. My body just did not have the energy, and I realized it. I was like, no need to stress my body too much and everything. And डांट तो पड़ी रही थी घर में, वो अलग बात है, but that was a silly thing I was doing.
So Kshitij, was this like your way of like sort of bringing in some sense of normalcy? Because like this is what you would do on a regular basis, right? Like play cricket
Yeah.
and do this and do that. Yeah, it is bad. Obviously, whoever's listening to this, don't do this.
That was my way. That is true. I think subconsciously, not something I was openly thinking, but subconsciously maybe that is what I wanted to do. Of course, not the right way to do it, and there was a very high chance of infection or the ball hitting my chemo port, and it could have created a problem, another surgery, and unnecessary expense plus pain. And but yeah, I think you're right. Probably it was something where, and I just wanted to feel normal. I didn't want to feel discriminated. I'm being very honest. Like, yes, there were a lot of physical pain, and there were like I was going through a lot of problem with, like, for example, hair going, and I knew that baal to jayenge, but when it actually went, like I can't describe the like that was more painful than anything else. But apart from that, I got a lot of gratitude, which I feel that everybody should have.
That's a nice way to look at it. But also, going through cancer at any age is generally taxing on the mental health as well, right? Like you said that you also felt depressed at times. I had also lost all my hair, and I'm not a camera friendly person, but I would always look at the mirror and be like, but you're used to yourself looking a certain way in front of the mirror. And then when I lost my hair and I had like patches of like black skin because cancer would make my skin black, my nails were black. I had all sorts of really like big patches on my skin. Just losing hair on top of that, everything just collectively impacts mental health, right? I remember it also not just impacted my mental health, it also impacted a lot of people who are around me, caregivers, everyone. I must tell you, so Adnan's my friend from school. When I told him I had cancer, he didn't talk to me for a few days because he was also dealing with it. Ki, Arey, ye, what happened? Because again, when it's someone that close, it impacts you,
Yeah, yeah.
really hits you really hard, right? And basically all my close relations changed in a certain way, some way or the other. But how has it impacted your mental health then and now?
Definitely, like as I said, that mental health was a bigger issue than physical problems. After a point of time, you just become like, kar lo yaar, jo karna hai, karo, just do it and get it over with. But jo mental that was a lot. I'll be very honest. That was taxing. That point of time, it was very, very painful because I used to see myself in the mirror and I used to just hate myself. What actually worked for me, I'll tell you that, which I do recommend. I'm not a doctor, but this is something I would actually recommend. When you're sitting with a cancer patient, make that person laugh and forget about the problems and just go out there. And that helps so much. That helps
Major.
so much. And
Yeah.
just have fun and, like, just laugh. I honestly, laughter was the best medicine out there. Then
But
it was
also, I feel like do things that if somebody feels like they want to go out, but don't go out in a group. Like, don't
yeah,
go to
yeah,
a movie
definitely.
theater. Like, please go to like a garden with one other person or two other people. Because I remember I went on drives with just my mom or just my grandparents. It was just like 2, 3 people who are safe, who are not meeting 500 other people
Yeah, and I'll just say follow COVID protocols. Whatever you're doing,
all the
like,
time.
not more than four,
Yeah.
5 people. Wash your hand.
Yeah.
Don't touch it to your face. Things like
Yeah.
that.
Yes, literally follow COVID protocol. That is the advice. I want to tell everyone also. We were actually going to record this a few days back, and the reason we didn't do it on that day is because Kshitij had a biking event and he is just out of cancer. So I must tell you, I was very excited to hear this. And now that you've recovered, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel to be able to do things that you can just do
I
without worrying as much?
we did a farewell bike ride, okay, like a farewell bike ride before that. Everyone, we were like, okay, guys, I'm not going to be biking for a while and everything. And within, I think, a month and a half, I was like, screw it, I'm biking. So in between chemo, I even went on a bike ride. So I would just go for a short spin, like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, and come back. Pehle I used to ride like 100 kilometers, but when I was had my chemo, tab maine nahi choda, so ab kaise chhod deta. So I rode, but again, I'm riding. I'm being very careful. So kitna karna hai, like short span, 5 kilometers, then 10 kilometers. अभी सबसे ज्यादा मैंने अभी इंडिपेंडेंस डे राइड पे किया. That was around 75 kilometers. I'm unable to do workouts for over 15 minutes, so I tried a 20-minute workout बीच में. I have a fitness trainer who helped, and mainly I have really worked on my diet now. So थोड़ा सा मैंने इन सब चीजों पे काम किया, but yeah, feels good. I don't know, like bike ride is my way of therapy, to be honest. So
Okay, so last question before we let you go. Since you were in the thick of treatment till recently, what is the one thing that you would like to say to someone who's currently battling cancer?
understand that you do not have control over your body right now. Okay, it's nothing that you can do at this point of time. The only thing you can do is religiously follow what your doctor is saying. From your end, what you can do is stay happy. Now, I will never recommend someone to distract yourself. Distract means your focus is still on something bad, but you're trying to distract. I'm saying focus on something else. All right, don't focus on this, but focus on something and don't distract, and try to have fun conversations. Try to stay happy. That positivity that you have when you're happy, and genuine positivity, because when you talk to your friends and you're laughing about incidences, a lot of different things, it helps incredibly. It gives you energy. Don't avoid food or fluids, because you cannot really make your body fit. Your immunity cannot happen through exercises. So the food is the only way where you can fight that immunity. So listen to the doctor.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for taking out the time for doing this. And we are very thrilled that you decided to speak to us and that you have recovered and that you're out of this treatment and that we hope you keep getting better and keep feeling fitter every single day.
Thank you so much, Tamanna. Thank you, Adnan, for having me. One final thing I would definitely add in the end. One thing my dadi told to me, and to the people who don't have cancer, you can have all the richness, all the riches in the world, like proper, you have a lot of wealth. But if you're sick, if your health is not good, you can't enjoy anything. So first priority always health. Baki sab baat mein.